up in Christchurch in Aranui. Started drinking alcohol around age 13, got into drugs at age 14 and started going down a really destructive path. Trying to do everything I could, I guess, to escape from the pain that was inside me, really. So one time I actually went to a youth group for a wee while, and one of the ladies took me out the back and just told me how God loved me so much and had this amazing plan for my life. And part of me kind of felt that was true, but then another part of me was just like, nah, this is too much. I don't want to do this with my life. When I was 19, got into a relationship with a guy who was quite a bit older than me, and we got engaged after 2 weeks and decided to move to Australia together. It just really didn't go well. He was quite angry, quite abusive, and the day before my 20th birthday we went to the pub and he, I tried to break him up from a fight and he turned around and punched me in the eye. So I had this beautiful big shiner on my 20th birthday. Probably a few weeks after that I started thinking, what am I doing? Like, what is my life? So I told him I didn't want to be with him anymore, and he left, went back to New Zealand, and I found myself in Sydney. Maybe 2 days later, found out I was pregnant to him, and I just couldn't cope with it. I just couldn't deal with the fact that I could bring a child into the world that when I was just so dysfunctional. So I had an abortion, and I think I just really started to question, what on earth am I doing? Like, Janelle, you are totally destroying your life. Something needs to change. And then one day I'd gone out and I was hugely hungover. I'd had a really bad night, some really bad stuff had gone down, and I was just sitting out on the grass and just feeling absolutely distraught, like feeling so disgusting about myself, about who I'd become, about the things I'd done. That was when I experienced God's love. And I just felt this love all around me. I felt this acceptance. I felt this warmth and this kindness that was just wanting to get into every area of my life, wanting to redeem me and bring me wholeness and healing. And I just felt hope in that moment. And I just knew that I needed to give my life to him. I knew that I needed to get right with him. And so not so many weeks later, I went into a church, and at that point I just decided to give my life to Jesus. You know, the Bible talks about how he died on the cross for all of our sins and to make us whole. And so I decided that I was gonna, just start going down that path. I'm in ministry, I work in a church, but for years I've just been so busy all the time doing ministry, and I hadn't really let God touch some of those deeper parts of my heart that were still really wounded. So in the last 3 years I've just been going through this journey of actually allowing God to touch some of those places that have caused me to have some dysfunctional behaviour. I knew I was a Christian, I knew I'd been forgiven, but I just, for the last 17 years, was just walking around and just knew that there were things in my life inside of me that were just still not whole. And I've been able to actually allow God into those places and instead of sort of squashing feelings down, actually allow them to come up. And sometimes I might be feeling really afraid or feeling really rejected. I ask God to show me like the source of that and how that got there, and then invite him in to that space so that he can bring healing in that area of my heart. Like I've never really felt so alive, and I love the fact that, you know, no matter where we are in our journey, you know, God has more for us, he has more life, he has more freedom. I guess there's parts of us that don't really know if God, once he really sees the mess that's inside, will he really love? Will he really accept? So it has been, it's been scary. But every time God's come and spoken into those places with his love and his care and his compassion. And it's been really amazing.